Hello, I think you're on mute.
Oh, hey, AJ. I'll be right back.
Yep.
Hello, back.
Hello. I like this new Zoom update where like it pops out of browser for a minimal window when you are browsing something else. So you know that you are in a meeting somewhere.
Oh, does it on
Yeah.
Windows?
Yeah, I'm using Chrome, so maybe it's
Oh,
a Chrome feature. I don't know.
yeah. Weird. Um, let's see. Do we have any agenda items today? Um,
Yeah, I have a
okay.
couple.
Do you want to talk about those? Let's see.
Yeah. So the pull request is basically so I fixed it in one of the depend about PRs directly, and then I realized that we are facing the similar issue in release branches. So I raised another PR separating the change out from the original depend about PR so that we can cherry pick this into the release branch itself rather than uh, like carrying any other fixes with this. So I just need your acknowledgement on this one, and then it's
Oh,
ready
okay.
to merge. I'll reorder my changes in the other depend about PR, and then I'll merge that.
Sorry, what was the issue with the dependabot? I didn't quite get that one.
Oh, so no, so this was basically a CI was failing because the Docker 0.26 had
Because
CD.
it's the dependency check thing.
Yeah,
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 yeah, I
and
see.
then so depend about PR was failing, and I wanted to test the thing and then limit the number of reviews, which I ended up increasing eventually. But so then I patched the depend about PR
Yeah,
directly, and then I realized that the same problem exists in release branch.
yeah, yeah. Okay, I just approved it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Uh, cool. And the another one is pretty interesting actually. Uh, So it's an issue which was raised, I think, few days ago, where the user basically wants to run gatekeeper pods and everything in one cluster, like making it control plane, and then enforce the policies in a different cluster
Yeah.
by using the kube config of different clusters. So I think it's an interesting use case. I was just trying to get your thoughts around it, and if you have recall anything about why um, we kind of did not investigate this further in the first go because the initial issue that they linked is quite old.
Yeah, I remember talking about this before. Technically, it should work. I don't know why it wouldn't work.
So, like, there are hurdles. They need to use fake pod, and then somebody commented yesterday that even with the fake pods and fake configuration, there were some additional approach or workaround or issues that they needed to do. Uh,
So this is Gatekeeper running on a separate cluster,
yeah,
right? I
yeah.
see.
You are looking at 4123, right? Not the origin, like other.
4123. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. Uh, uh yeah, yeah.
Mm, yeah, this is definitely not a like tested configuration.
Hey folks, sorry I'm late. What are we discussing?
Issue 4123.
Okay. Do we have someone new on the call? Or is it new to me?
Oh, hi,
Yeah.
Deepak.
Hi. Yeah, I just came in like just for listening purpose. Right now might be in future contribute. Um, Hello
Welcome.
everyone. Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Welcome.
Do you use Gatekeeper today?
No, we don't. And so what I'm working on is the like building out the agentic AI workflow kind of thing, right? So all these agents kind of I'm planning to host within the Kubernetes cluster, and we might need some policies around that, right? Like AI policies and those kind of things. So that's what I'm looking for. These kind of capabilities, like
Mhm.
centralized configuration management and all those things, right? So
So the agents run in are hosted in Kubernetes, and you're trying to get Kubernetes policies for the Kubernetes pods, or like the agents themselves.
yeah, I mean definitely the Kubernetes policies will be there, right? I mean, like setting up some guardrails around the namespace and all. But
Mhm.
along with that, the policies like the like OPA provides, right? The policy engine kind of thing, um, where the like as the agent receives anything, right? And that's where the authentication authorization check is also required, right? And so those kind of capabilities and I'm looking for like the like separating the cross-cutting concerns, right, from the delivery of the agents. Um, so that's what is kind of interest and looking for interest around the capabilities.
I see. Yeah, let us know if you have any questions, or feel free to chime in the Slack channel or open an issue or anything.
Yeah, definitely sounds good. Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, and moving back to the 4123, is
Yeah.
there anything specific they got stuck on, Jay?
So they basically wanted to see if there is a way without running like fake pods in the different cluster, if this setup can be implemented. So right now, due to the status controller and status and like constraint template status and constraint status internal resources, they need to run fake pods in the different cluster because we are expecting those pods to be up, and we use pod ID and I think owner reference and other stuff to create this the status sub resource and patch. Uh, patch it to the constraint template. So I think it might be possible if they disable the status operation altogether. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on if there is a easier way to do this.
Yeah, I've never done this before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
What
think
what
maybe
does FakePod do again? I forgot. I remember we had the.
so. Fake port basically uh, gets the pod name and namespace for and it basically returns the pod instance because we use get pod in the constraint template controller to get the information about pod and then patch it through status resource when we create it through each resource. Let me pull the code off so I can get you an accurate thing of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it says that use a fake pod name so gatekeeper executable can be run out of cluster. So it sounds like this got added because of this use case.
Yeah.
Wow, this is like really old.
Uh, yeah, I think it's basically this line where they'll face issues. Drop it in the chat.
You had this in the issue too as a comment.
Oh, sorry. uh, sorry,
It's okay. I just thought it's funny. Um,
I missed it.
so is it that they
This is
don't want to do the fake pot?
Yeah, if they want to, because like fake pod also comes with the other issues, right? Because now there is only one fake pod, and then each and every controller will use that fake pod to create resource in and it will conflict with each other. And people don't have confidence in this setup anyways because it's not tested and tried up.
Mm.
So that's another issue.
Yeah, definitely not a supported configuration. Yeah, I pasted the original thing that triggered this. This was Oren in 6 years ago. So in this case, he was trying to run Gatekeeper locally, like the manager locally, and then have the K8s cluster reach out to the local instance. I don't know if this ever intended to be like outside of the cluster, running outside of the cluster. I think more for like running manager locally so you can do like fast loops for dev test.
Yeah. But I'm still getting confused about how API like webhook validations would work if Gatekeeper is running in one like another cluster because Cube API server won't forward those requests to another cluster. Uh,
I mean, it's just a endpoint, right? I think it'll just call whatever the endpoint is.
oh, okay. So you will have to define the webhook configurations accordingly to point to another cluster if you want to
Right.
receive the uh,
Yeah,
events.
I think
Validation.
I've never done that, but I think that should work.
So sounds like there isn't an easy way to do this.
Is it a pretty common pattern, a deployment pattern?
I don't know, but from the issue, it seems it's been talked out a lot recently because within like 2 3 days, there are two people asking for the same
I
thing.
can see why people don't want to run it on the cluster, like outside the cluster.
Yeah. It
Um,
kind of helps with the fail close scenario a little bit as well because if gatekeeper is running in different cluster,
yeah, for sure.
then
Yeah, but there are other issues. I mean, we used to do this.
of course like there are latency issues and network unreliable network calls. So
Oh yeah, we used to do this, right? Yeah,
Yeah, but back then we didn't have like the status stuff.
yeah.
this was early gatekeeper.
Which one was?
The functionality or deploying
Like,
gatekeeper in separate cluster.
I mean, you could deploy it in different ways as you can see, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm just saying the status stuff was added later.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we ever considered the like that behavior, like running off the cluster after that. So
I think,
go ahead.
sorry, I was just gonna say, I think if this is becoming a common pattern for how to deploy Gatekeeper, we should add it to our backlog to figure out a good solution. Like especially if they don't like the fake pot like way, how else can we solve this? I think we need to think about it and then weigh the pros and cons.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh, and I'll assign it to myself so that I can.
I mean, we can ask them if if they're interested to create like a design for this one. Like, how would it work?
I kind of I really doubt like these type of things are not good for like for first time contributors. Like it's like
Right.
a high barrier to entry. It's not like, oh, go update like the Helm chart or something or the docs or
Yeah.
like a feature, like a tiny feature, right? These are like kind of fundamental. I mean, we can ask for ideas, but I don't think I would expect them to drive the design.
Yeah, I think it's just like the juggling of the existing milestone items with this.
Yeah,
I mean, do we think this is like the most important thing, or like the
I'm saying at least put it in like a future roadmap. Doesn't mean now.
yeah.
322 then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's put it to 2022 or between 23 maybe.
Yeah. I wonder if like breaking down Helm charts a little bit and then creating corresponding fact pods through Helm chart in different cluster at least might be able to relieve some pain around the deployment rather than actual code changes, but it still will be a non-trivial amount of work to figure that out.
Yeah, especially this will almost never be tested.
Yeah,
Like it is going to be really hard to be able to test. But we could create like multiple clusters and then have them talk to each other and stuff. But it's just a very niche use case, I think. So unless we can like confidently we want to support this and testable, yeah,
So I think by putting it in a future release, and Jay, you can say like uh, we need to think about how to provide support for this long term, and then you can ask them, if you have ideas, please, feel free to comment, right? I think this will at least give folks signals that hey, this is something we would like to follow up, but no, like immediate commitment, right?
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. So adding it to 322 sounds good
yeah,
for now.
I think so.
Mm,
Especially the last comment, right? It seems that they're like the current solution is one, it's like to your point, like the same ID, not great. I feel like we can make that change fairly easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's more like discouraging docs, right? So I want to understand like what are the potential problems, and does it make sense for us to offer a solution for this pattern, right? What are the
Yeah.
pros and cons? And again, maybe we will still do the work, but like clearly document it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we ever intended to work it like that. I think it's mostly like, hey, it works locally for dev test.
Mm.
Cool. I'll respond on there. Yeah, and one more thing I had was I have external data status PR up. The CI was failing, so I'm gonna take a look at why. But my local testing was pretty good, so whenever you guys have a chance, uh, please take a look at that. It's just lint and manifest failure because I'm using the local vendoring, so it should be good.
The looks like, yeah, the license lint failed.
Yeah.
Why is the license lint failing? Good. Oh, I think also the code gen is failing. Let me see. I think you might need to run.
It's because I'm using local vendors because some of the
Oh, I
changes
see.
are in frameworks related to external data type. Yeah.
Oh, can you replace with your branch instead of doing local in the PR?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Are you using in the PR, does it have your path, like local path? Let me see.
Yeah, I'm using
Oh,
local
okay,
vendor.
yeah.
I'll
Change it
replace it. Yeah.
to the remote one, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why
Because we
lint is.
won't be able to test it with the local one, obviously.
But the gatekeeper test passes, right? Like it's. Oh, you won't be able to test it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't have mount D.
But so the vendor should, like, if you check out the branch, the vendoring should already be there. So you will be able to build an image, but I'll replace it to the remote branch anyways.
Yeah, if you ever run the yeah, like go mod tidy, it'll error out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll replace it.
Yeah, this only works because we have the vendor. Yeah, yeah. I forget
Um,
we have stuff vendored.
yeah, we have gone back and forth about adding and not adding vendors.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. It just makes it really hard to debug stuff. I mean, not debug. To review the changes.
Hey,
Oh, yeah, I'll review this one.
for the previous issue, that user said the fake pie is not recommended in docs. Where do you see that?
I don't know actually. I took a look at that right
Is it
before
just
the.
because it's opt-in, maybe? But that makes sense because it's not the standard way of deploying. Okay, it's okay if you don't know. I just thought maybe you already knew.
I actually didn't know about the debug use fake port as well because, like, I don't think I've seen it anywhere in the docs.
It's not.
It's there. It's just really obscure.
It's just a flag. It's not
Yeah.
part of Helm or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What else?
Um, I
I
think
think
that's about
Sertaj,
it.
you also have some topic you want in your brain.
Which topic?
I think you talked about it yesterday. I don't know.
Oh, let
Yeah,
me.
so let's bring it to the community call.
Oh yeah. I was gonna talk about. Let me see. Yeah. I think. Oh. Yeah. We were talking about config. Yeah. How do you want to do the config stuff? The config and sync sets. So I think I was explaining to Rita yesterday that we had config in alpha for like ages, probably
Yeah.
around 7 years plus now. And sync sets are clearly the recommended path. So how do we want to handle config going forward? Unfortunately, we have the exclusions in config too, so we can't deprecate the entire the CRD. Yeah, that's what I want to check.
Okay. Let me double check something.
Let me add this to the
So the exam namespace stuff is what you're talking about, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Wait.
I think we have process exemptor as well, right? Like in the exempt with alongside the exempt namespace in the same config, right?
Yeah, there's like a few other things that we have overloaded config with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excluded namespace. So syncset doesn't handle the namespace exclusion, right? Okay, so sync is just for replicating data, right? Sorry, I'm just refreshing my memory.
Oh yeah, there's also the sync as a process too.
Because of process.
Yeah, like in the config, I actually don't remember the sync sets are covered with this. Is that what you were saying, Rita, just now?
No,
So I just pasted the link. In that case, there's a exclude namespaces, and then there's processes like audit, webhook, and sync.
that's from config.
Yeah, that's from config.
Yeah.
So there's a sync process. So does that sync process the config sync process or sync set sync process or both?
Oh boy.
I don't remember this. It's been a long time for this.
Process exclusion will exclude resources from specified namespaces
Right.
from being synced into OPA.
Yeah.
Okay.
So SyncSet came later on. I don't know if SyncSet added support. I mean, whatever the process is for this. Yeah.
I feel like is SyncSet done?
So I mean, so SyncSet is in alpha too.
Yeah.
So I think the idea is we would move forward that with beta at like plus whatever we need to get to beta. But then what do we do with the config sync, which is also in alpha? So we have two features that does a similar stuff, which we want the sync set to go forward, but not the config sync one. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm just reading, working with SyncSet resources.
Yeah, I can ask Annan if the sync process is covered.
I'm sorry I missed the last part. I was typing something else. Can you repeat? The sync, what about sync process?
So in the I pasted the link. So in the config we have a exempt namespaces stuff, and then in that there's a sync process. So that sync process covers the config sync process for sure. I don't know if it covers the sync set sync process. So does that mean for both of them? So like when you say hey, exclude sync, then does that mean the sync set also doesn't? The sync set also excludes those? Yeah.
Well, we can test it to know for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if not, so that we would also add either include that in the sync or add a sync set one. But I think the original question is what do we want to do with the sync only one?
Yeah. I mean, to your point, since config covers more than just sync, right? We wouldn't be able to really deprecate it.
No. Yeah, I think that was a hindsight mistake. Yeah, we have like a bunch of stuff in config.
I think it does.
It does? Okay.
Because let me
What
show
does?
the exclusion in config is also it also affects the sync
Okay,
control.
cool. That's one less thing, I guess. Okay, cool. Yeah, so can we deprecate just the sync only field in config?
Yeah,
And
I
then what
mean,
happens to the existing users? So
they,
what time frame do we give them to migrate?
well, remember, deprecation doesn't necessarily mean removal.
Right.
You're talking about removal, which is breaking change.
Yeah, this is an alpha feature. So
I know,
yeah,
but this is also widely used alpha feature, right?
yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely.
We could auto migrate.
Oh yeah, I think we talked about that maybe at some point, right? We said, what if we take what's in the config
Right.
and then convert the sync only stuff to sync set,
Yeah.
right? I think we had this conversation.
Yeah, I think that's a fairly easy thing to do, but
Yeah.
So maybe that's that's the right next step. So maybe that's a blocker for sync set going to beta.
Yeah, I'll add this to the issue. I have an issue, like we have an issue open for beta.
Okay, let's do that.
but do we do that continuously? Like, so sure, we can do that for exit. So say you gatekeeper updates, and then there's like a new migration thing to automatically create a sync set.
Mhm.
Um, and then user adds a new config.
I
Do we
think
always keep converting?
I think we should do it for 2 releases and then deprecate the conversion code as well.
Uh,
No? Because then we are just increasing the surface of support thing, right?
Yeah, might as well not deprecate at that point if you're always yeah.
Yeah.
Like might as well not migrate. We'll just keep both. Yeah.
yeah, but again, it's a trade-off, right? You don't want to break the user. So at least if we were to do something like that, at least few releases, because there's plenty of people who don't keep up with upgrades. So expecting 1 or 2 releases is definitely not good enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that two releases are support window.
So how would it work? What are you guys suggesting? Auto convert and then remove from the config? Like, what are you thinking? So during an upgrade, right? You would look at the config resource. If it has a sync only, you would generate a sync set, and then would you remove sync only from config?
Yeah, I think this will need more design doc to think about like the edge cases.
Yeah, I still now if you put it like that, right, I feel like I'm in of a back foot to deprecate it ever because like recently I saw somebody using 313 and imagine if that user just skips the versions that we have this auto migrating code for, uh, then they'll be certainly breaking. And
Yeah, also it's always challenging as like on the one hand you want to reduce the work for the user, but on the other hand you don't want to like bug with their code without them knowing. Because let's say you did this change on the cluster, guess what? In their code it's still the
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Do we always do that? Because like they still have the config files the
yeah, yeah.
old
In
way,
some
right?
sense, it would actually be good to break so that they know
Right. Yep.
like upgrade didn't work.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
It's the Kubernetes way. Just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't take any action, we will basically have both of them forever, and then one of them will never go to beta. I mean, I don't think config is ever going beta.
can we do uh, can we do this that we have deprecated the sync functionality in config, as in it won't get any updates. So if you want updated things or if you are facing any bugs, you would have to migrate to sync set yourself. And
Yeah,
going
we
forward,
could
we'll
do
just
warning.
work.
Like we
Sorry.
could do warnings. We could do
Yeah.
warning. Anytime we see a sync only, we'll give a warning. But again, it's like you're at the discretion of the user, right?
Can we do a warning like that? Like,
Yeah.
you mean the logs?
Remember, we're validating webhook. Remember that. We could do a lot.
Um,
Although this resource isn't the gatekeeper. Oh, but
yeah.
anyway, we validate our own stuff, right? Like we validate configs, so 100% we can return a warning. I have no doubt we can do that.
Sorry, return a warning when a user installs a config?
That's right. Any updates, any CRUD operation, really. Maybe not delete, but create a new
Yeah.
update.
Yeah, I can see that.
I hear waffles.
Yeah, because we have a star. Yeah, I think we look at all
Right.
those.
Yeah. So that would take care of that. So maybe that's okay. Let's do that then. Let's do that for a few. Oh, sorry. That would just be there forever.
Yeah.
Like you know, again, you're kind of like basically saying, hey, you're using this sync only thing at your own risk, but migrate to this thing. And in the meantime, we'll just keep pushing and we shouldn't have that warning until I think, in my opinion, at least when sync set goes to beta.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Because you're basically saying like this thing, even though you've been using it for a while, is alpha, and we're nudging you to move over to this beta thing. And we won't like update sync only anymore.
Yeah.
And we can even say we're like with the intent to remove in the future, like even just again as extra nudge to move over.
Yeah, I think that the issue is that unless users update, then they won't get that warning.
Well, upgrade, right? Anytime you upgrade, you'll get it.
No, I mean gatekeeper
Anytime.
update. Yeah.
Yeah, anytime. Oh, I mean, if they don't change it out, gatekeeper, they're out of support anyway.
Right, but then if they like bump from like say 13 to I don't know 25 whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So and then that basically 25, let's say we remove sync sets, sorry, the sync only, and then that at that point they never got any
We're not gonna
warning.
remove.
Yeah.
I'm already saying this. We're not gonna remove it,
Yeah.
but we should say with the intent to remove, just in the case we do for some reason in the future, right? It covers.
Oh, then I mean, sounds like we're like keeping it indefinitely. I mean, then why do
Well,
the
let's say in the future, if for whatever reason we do think it's okay to remove, then we have that option. That's my point. Like you
I
don't
see.
want to kind of lock ourselves in, even though I can definitely see. And by the way, like skipping that many versions when you upgrade, that's already not
Oh
supported.
yeah, yeah, people do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I said just let's let's push beta, right? And then add the warning with intent to remove, and then that way we'll nudge them to migrate. But what happens if you use sync only and sync set to do the same thing? Is it just, is there a conflict? Or both will try to sync?
So the cache we use, I don't think
It's a
there
different
will
cache.
be due. Is it?
Is it a different cache?
I think
I
it's a
don't.
different cache.
Yeah, I thought it was I could be wrong.
Yeah, I also don't remember this one.
Let's
It
see.
both uses cache manager, so I think it's the same cache.
Could be. I mean, they all end up in data inventory, so it must be the same cache.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other thing that we discussed was using the require sync thing to auto-generate the sync sets.
Oh, the set union of all sync set resource GVKs and the config resource sync only will
Yeah,
be
yeah, looks like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay, docs.
But so there is no duplicate data in the cache, right?
No, it will like just basically the last write wins, I guess.
Yeah.
So extra, you're using extra compute, but yeah, but as long as it doesn't introduce weird behaviors, it's okay. We should test
But
that.
so
We should definitely test all this.
in this case, um, so we decided to add a warning for config when it is uh, warning on. We decided for adding a warning on CRUD of the config.
Sorry, what are you
After
typing?
beta.
Oh yeah, on the issue. I see.
Yeah, I'm writing down on the issue itself. So that brings us to the next
Or-
situation. Sorry.
warning that this field is now deprecated. Please migrate to sync set when possible with the in the future. Sorry, with the intent to for removal in the future. Something like that. Well, you can wordsmith it.
So what do we think this lands in the VAP sync thing that we discussed before? And
So for web sync, right? Like one of the issue is there is only one param kind possible for web to take in. So uh, we either need to like expand constraints to include dump data, or we need to come up with a different CRD where we dump constraints parameter as well as the additional cluster data in that CR for VAP to use that as variables. And before moving there, I still have one more thing to ask. So from the code, it seems that excluding sync in the config itself will exclude it from sync set as well. So if that's the case, I'll validate it. But if that's the case, then do we want to change that process in the config and then remove the option to sync from config there, or like what do we want to do about that?
repeat your question, Jay. Sorry.
So the sync process exclusion in the config, right?
Yeah.
From the code to me, it seems that it will prevent sync set to sync the data as well, as long as the sync process is excluded from at the config level, right?
Right. Yep.
Now the idea is that we want to do the sync set to beta and really deprecate everything in the config map. Sorry, in the config itself. So how do we make sure that if somebody is defining that exclusion at the config level, we don't affect it to the sync set going thinking it's going to be beta and stable in the future, so it should take precedent over anything that's defined in the config.
Wait, what? Oh, wait, but hold on. I'm very confused.
Yeah.
Config, You're talking about, well, we are only talking about sync only.
Yeah.
We don't touch everything else, right?
Yeah, so are we fine? So that's basically my question. Are we fine being sync process excluded through config itself, even though sync sets are defined in the cluster?
Can you repeat that one more time?
Oh, sorry. Let me share my
No,
screen.
no, you're fine. Just I think you were too fast. Just
Oh,
sorry.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. If you could just repeat, yeah.
Yeah. So in the config, right, like we have the ability to exclude sync process.
Yes.
Right.
Now, thinking that we are deprecating sync functionality from the config and leaning towards sync sets,
Mhm.
Yeah.
do we still retain the ability to control any aspects of sync process through config itself,
Oh
or
yeah.
move away from it?
No, we'll keep the config's exclusions.
Because the exclusion sync is sync set, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that to my knowledge, that config is the only thing that can do that today, right?
Yep. That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, then we don't want to touch that.
Okay.
Yeah. So configs, like the exclusion stays the same. The only sort of, what is it? I mean, deprecate. I mean, not remove, deprecate maybe the sync only. So why don't we just do that?
Hmm.
We can just call it deprecation, and then don't we don't remove it. Kind of keeps it at a like a mean warning. Don't use this or else. But yeah. Do we want to? I mean, I guess we don't have to migrate, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we'll just keep it and then hope people do the best.
Yeah.
I have very low expectations. Uh,
Okay. Now let's get back to your question about VAP.
yeah, so I was saying like, do we want to spend time on adding this to VAP versus doing this in the for Rego or both?
Mm.
So from the upstream issue, I think I don't know if I don't think it's an enough data point so far. I like there are like 2 3 people who reacted to them that issue. So I have
I'm
no
talking about
idea.
just the gatekeeper, by the way.
Yeah. So that's what I was saying, right? And in gatekeepers issue, I don't think I have like any attraction, but I didn't post it anywhere. So at the very least, I think we might be able to attract some users who own this functionality in VAP itself, but is not supported yet, but can be supported through gatekeeper.
Right.
But I don't know if that's a strong enough point for us to evaluate the whole design and spend engineering efforts on.
Well, the idea would be that we would basically won't have the sync sets or the config, right? Instead of doing this work here, we would basically do that, and then we want to move everything to WAP anyway in the future. So because the gap is external data and sync and the external, sorry, audit and whatnot. But yeah, so basically close the gap as much as possible. So there's a few stragglers can also be that.
Mm, I still don't know if this is kind of a strong enough case for spending engineering efforts on, but I'm and one more concern that I have with this is basically probably dumping sensitive data into some custom resource which anybody can have access to, as opposed to, I mean, but you can say like if constraint templates are there, then data.inventory is also exposed. So
Yeah, I mean you can just dump the data, the inventory with
yeah.
that.
I am fine with like keeping this issue
Yeah.
open, linking it to SyncSet, and then reiterating in the future.
Keeping which issue opened?
The like adding sync functionality to VAP.
Oh yeah, we said we didn't want to do the work, right? We just want to see how much,
Yeah.
what's the interest here.
Yeah. So I think what I'm saying is that instead of putting the work into the gatekeeper changes for like the sync sets and sync only and getting them to beta, we do the VAP thing for gatekeeper only, not KK, gatekeeper only, and then we can move more stuff to VAP instead of, because if they need sync functionality like referential whatever, right, they have to use the Rago constraints, and then we want to close the gap and then move everything to WAP as much as possible. So instead of like, hey, supporting Rego for more with sync only stuff, we implement that functionality for WAP. So we can move as much as functionality to WAP.
I could be wrong, but I, if I recall, the current sync functionality is is an informer cache, right? It's not OPA specific.
Right.
So so if we were to support VAP cache solution down the road, we would basically just create a custom resource from the informer cache, right?
Correct.
So again, I could be wrong, but like I didn't think that there will be like I didn't think that was like specific to OPA.
No, no, it's not. Yeah.
So
So
why
I
would
think
you
my
say that?
question is like, do we put the effort into the sync, like getting sync set to beta and then deprecating sync only, or do we go for the VAP sync?
But what I'm trying to say is VAP sync, I like anything you're doing for sync set is a dependency for VAP sync, right? Like it's not an either or.
Yeah, I'm more on the time wise. Do we spend the time to do the VAP stuff first, or do we spend the time to do the sync graduation and all that stuff?
Uh,
Is it either or in terms of time? Like which one do we focus on first?
but again, I kind of thought sync set or like sync feature in general, replicating data in general is a prerequisite for VAP sync, VAP plus sync anyway.
Right.
But like it's like saying, oh, we're gonna support sync data for VAP, but it's like alpha only, right? Versus the sync set stuff API is beta.
Oh, I see. You're saying that sync we'll keep the sync set API and then
Yeah, it doesn't change.
we'll go to the beta first, or
Yeah.
do we want to keep that? So I think my question is, do we want to keep in alpha first until we figure out the VAP cache stuff? And then because there may or may not be changes needed. Because once we go beta, and if there are changes for the VAP cache, then that might be harder to break. I'm just asking about more order of operations, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, one is we don't know who needs VAP sync, but we do know everyone, I mean not everyone, but like sync is a well-known feature in Gatekeeper, and
Yeah,
we don't want it to be alpha forever. So from that perspective, sync set the API going to beta sounds more immediate to me because
yeah.
we know there are people using it.
But I think the conflict in my mind is that we want everybody to go to VAP, right? That like VAP is the preferred solution.
Okay.
And in the Rego with sync is the opposite way. Like we're keeping them on Rego because of the sync functionality.
Only if they need it, right?
Right, exactly. But then do we want to cover the gap and then go for everybody to the
I
website?
think that depends on how many people actually use the sync feature for with VAP. We don't know.
I mean, nobody today because it doesn't exist. That's
That's
what
why
I'm.
I'm
Yeah,
saying, okay, look, there's a Venn diagram, right? Like
yeah,
we know how many people are using Gatekeeper, and well, actually we don't know, but let's say it's like like a pie, right? We know a subset of that is sync, right? We know that, right? So the question is, would those subset of people want to use VAP? That's a question mark. And I don't think we should spend time on it until we get good signal. But in the meantime, we do know Gatekeeper, current users of Gatekeeper, they do use sync, right? So don't you want the deprecation to happen as soon as possible?
Yeah, but I also want people to switch over to web as much as possible and not Rego. So I think that's the sort of conflicting priorities in that case. Does that make sense? Like it's basically, hey, do we go for web for full as soon as possible, like close the gap as much as possible, whatever we can do, right? Or we invest in the older Rego things and and then maybe we come back to the web stuff. It's more like a priority thing.
Yeah. Um,
Is this a good way to attract more people, more
Yeah,
users?
I would say yeah that would be definitely a value for Gatekeeper for
how
because
many
KK
people
does not have.
have thumbs up on that?
Let
On,
me see.
on
I
the
think it were 3, including me, probably.
I have not done that.
But again, I feel like these are two different things, right? One is SyncSet, the API. One
Right.
is in creating CRDs for VAP. Like these are two separate things. Meaning, let's say we have SyncSet API for beta or even GA, right? The feature to enable sync with that would be like behind a feature gate. So these are two different things. Like just
Yeah,
because
they are true. I'm just mostly thinking in terms of like priorities. Do we want people to switch over to WAP as much as possible, or do we want to support the existing users on Rego? That's the question. Like it's more like priorities. They're separate things, but they have like they support the priorities in terms of like, hey, move over to app ASAP, or keep on Rego with and then use sync.
oh, this one is the KK one. Did you how about the one for Gatekeeper? Did you not create one for Gatekeeper?
Oh, no, I did, but
Oh, I'm curious that one because that's
it has 0. But I don't know if people actually know about this issue or not.
Jay didn't do the post for that.
oh okay. But how about in Slack?
Mm,
That might be a good place to ask.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Let me post it on the Slack.
in like specifically in OPA Gatekeeper, I
Yeah,
think.
I mean, we can ask the safeguards for their like preference. Like, hey, do they want to keep on the Rego one versus go to app?
That's true. Yeah. Because if yeah,
I mean, we already have the customers there, so we can ask them.
Yeah,
the the caveat here is let's say you do get people saying they want this, then we have to make a decision, right? Like where which which one is the trigger to create the custom resource? Is it config sync only or is it sync set? That's why it's better to converge on sync set. So you
Yeah. And then that's what I was thinking. Like, hey, maybe we need to figure that out before graduating that to beta.
but it's a chicken egg, right? It's
It is
you
kind of.
want to nudge people to sync set so that when you add this feature to sync set, you know that's all you need to care about.
Yeah.
That's why in my mind I was thinking sync set is the prerequisite. If we don't know people are all on sync set, we add this capability for VAP, how do we know they're using it? Or how do we, I mean, both are early alpha features, right? Let's be clear here.
Yeah.
I think it's basically
well,
both, right? Like you can say if you want to use this VAP sync feature, you have to use sync set.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's like a motivation for people to move to sync sets.
Sure.
Yeah.
And how hard is it to move sync set to beta? What's
I
the
think the only blocker was I saw your comment was adding the bipod status. I added to the issue.
yeah.
Anything else remaining on SyncSet beta?
I think metrics is already there, so it's just the status.
Yeah, I think
We
we
can
talked
ask
about
Emily.
yeah, we should definitely ask Amnon. I think we talked about the autogen, but I think that could be a GA sort of thing, not a beta.
Autogen from annotations?
Yeah. I mean, that would be super cool. That I'm thinking. Cool.
Yeah, now that I'm looking at this, dump data inventory to a CRD. That's a lot of data, right?
It is a lot of data. Yes.
We'll need to do sharding or something because like VAP binding uses label selectors for referencing each resource.
Mm,
So in that sense, like we can use multiple resources, but VAP in itself can only reference to one type of resource at a time.
right. Right, but then your like multiple policies could mean the whole cluster potentially because you're syncing all the data potentially. You
Yeah,
could, right? That's a lot of it's essentially your CRD is now SCD.
yeah.
Basically, yeah.
That's crazy. But also,
I mean, we can
I mean,
argue
that's
it's
what we do today.
yeah, exactly.
huh? We can
That's
what?
what we do today. In data
Yeah,
inventory,
but not
it's
as a CRD.
Not
That's
as a
different.
CID. Yeah.
yeah,
It's an informant cache. It's not persisted to SCD. That's very different.
Yeah.
Okay, let's think about this a bit more. Like, I'm not even sure if that's
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. Like, just created like a design. Hey, would it even work? Is this feasible? Not like, hey,
well, that's
implement.
why I think this is way more complicated than pushing Syngsa to beta.
Yeah,
I don't think this should block Syngsa to go to beta, is my point.
yeah. I think what I was thinking, like, hey, if we were to do that, will that require API changes to block? Like, if it's gonna change, then we shouldn't do beta. So that's the relation between.
Yeah, that makes sense.
another way of doing this without actually like dumping data in the CRD is to figure out a way to use data like set data.inventory uh, as a variable into the VAP parameters, but I guess that will like elongate the VAP resource.
Yeah.
Let me make a comment of this and see if this is possible.
Yeah, I mean,
So
this may not be even feasible. So I think that
yeah,
if we want to just like, hey, fast fail this, yeah, I'm all for it. Yeah. Cool. I think we are over time. Anything else you want to chat, Jay?
should I then ask for thoughts on this for with safeguards to see if what it,
Yeah, see, just to do like don't promise anything, obviously, but just say, hey, would you guys be interested in this?
yeah, cool. Yeah, nothing else.
Cool. Thanks, Jay.
Thanks. Bye.
See ya.